YouTube, welcome to my channel and at Bella, and today I'm going to be reviewing the new Batman movie featuring our powers. So let's get to it. Okay, the Batman movie featuring our powers. People complained about his casting. They always complain when somebody young and blonde gets cast. They did it with Heath Ledger's Joker. There was a huge, like he's too young, and look how that turned out. I'm not even going to entertain that. Moving swiftly on, this is a 3-hour-long Batman movie, and this review is going to have a couple of spoilers. It features Colin Farrell wonderfully hidden in a fat suit to play the Penguin, and it's just wonderful to actually see a young Penguin. We actually have Falcone, the Falcone family, make an appearance, which are the original mobsters that used to run Gotham. It's fantastic to actually see them on screen. We also have the Riddler as the main villain, and we have Catwoman. All of these are well-loved characters. This is a very, very young Gotham. Batman is 20, so theoretically he should have just finished his Ra's al Ghul training, but in this version it is training from Alfred, who used to work for Her Majesty's government as MI6 and MI5 as a spy in World War II. Moving swiftly on from that, because that really is just backstory and saying who's in the movie. This film is film noir with neon, and it's beautiful. It feels very, very Tim Burton-esque from The Batman and the Batman Returns movies. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Loved it. It also has got strong links to Year Zero or Year One of the Batman, which is a comic book where the young Batman rides a motorbike, as he does in this film, and Catwoman does, which is nothing new. Actually, there are parts of this movie that gave me the Matrix vibe. There was definitely some of that confusion going on. Also, the technology in this film, it's high-tech yet low-tech. You can't really tell what year it's supposed to be in. They've got social media, but is it our social media? They clearly can do live streaming with the hearts and everything on Instagram. Thank you, Riddler, for doing that. But some of the tools that they're using to break into safes are old school. So you've got this lovely mix. The Penguin is not quite Penguin-esque because he's not got his smoking pipe or his waddliness quite down yet, but he has got scars across his face and he is sort of fat and chunky, and it's great. But it's modern, but yet it's not. So Batman Year One, Batman Year Zero mentioned clearly. There's also Halloween and links to Hush. The plot is convoluted because we've got a proper Riddler story where he's leading clues. It's not campy at all, so forget that. It is a certificate 15. Don't try and sneak your 12-year-old brother in or sister, because it's not suitable for them in any way. In fact, the plot is so convoluted that some people just got completely sort of bored with it, and it is slow. This is a slow burn movie, and it's brilliant, and everybody's speaking in a deep voice like this, very, very Bane-esque. Thank you. Very Bane-esque, Tom Hardy-ish. Everybody is speaking like this, and I'm going to say an important plot point, but I'm going to say it really deep like this, so you can't really understand me. Yeah, that's what's going on here. There's some really, really good relationship work, and you can tell that this was filmed during the pandemic because there's usually only two main characters on the screen. It's either Jim Gordon and the Batman, or Alfred and the Batman, who is also Bruce Wayne. But Bruce Wayne doesn't really appear as the character himself in this, to be absolutely honest. He is always Batman all the way through, and that's what I like about it, because Bruce Wayne doesn't really exist. There is only Batman. Penguin is very, very accurate when he says that Batman is insane and some kind of psycho. Very true. But he also gets a kick out of it. Their chase, I know a lot of people didn't like the Batmobile reveal in this, but the car chase was fantastic. After all of this slow burn stuff, you get some really nice action set pieces. I'm going to leave Selena Kyle Catwoman to the end because it is satisfactory yet unsatisfactory, her story. The Jim Gordon Batman relationship is really well explored. I'm loving this. There's actually rather a lot of really good diverse casting in this film, which is good, but you have got continual references of Batman trying to save his 10-year-old self with the mayor's son, and that is really interesting. There are a lot of parallels, there's a lot of use of mirroring, of imagery, of that kind of thing, and there's a lot of questioning. Is Thomas Wayne a good person? And to be absolutely honest, I'm very clearly on the no, he was a human who had good and bad stuff going on. The Joker film from 2019 fits very well into this universe. It is 3 hours long. There are some great relationship hookers, and you can tell it was filmed during a pandemic because there's usually about 2 or 3 characters on screen with masks of various levels, which is hilarious because Selena, Kyle and Batman have just like got the mask at the top with this bit being free and just like, oh boy. But Riddler's fully masked with his strange specs and clear trendy specs. It is interesting. It does feel like you are watching a living comic, and that's what I really appreciate about it, because it actually allows Batman to A, be the detective, and B, be very fisty with his fists. He does have some gadgets, but he's not overwhelmed with them at this point. I'm loving the eye things that go on his eyes, and it is a bit creepy how him giving Selena the things in her eyes is like them going on a date. It is a bit stalkery. And Bruce is, Batman Bruce is really kind of, I know some people have said that he's got Aspergic tendencies in this, and you can really see it because Bruce Wayne isn't his playboy self in this at all. He is very much like living in a cave. I am living in my man cave, and I'm trying to improve Gotham by being a vigilante, even though my money is slowly being frittered away by incompetent managers. Hence why Alfred called the accountants to the house so that they could actually discuss this, seeing as Bruce is refusing to meet them. Anyway, that's a side note. Really good use of set pieces, really good use of effects. Not too overwhelming when they're all together. Loving the fighting style that Bruce and Selena Kyle have. It's brilliant. There are some really lovely moments between Catwoman and Batman. And this is where I'm coming to get to the Selena Kyle thing. But also Alfred and Batman have some touching moments. But you actually feel that Alfred's very much on the back burner, because even though Alfred is not his father, it takes Bruce / Batman some time to actually realise that he is, which is kind of strange because you'd think he would have figured it out at age 20, that this man effectively raised you from the age of 10. Anyway, moving swiftly on from that and taught him to fight, slow or what from the world's greatest detective. But I'm loving the fact that they also allowed the Penguin to be really intelligent, because and help them with a riddle, because that's really great, because what people don't realise is the Penguin's actually very intelligent. Yes, he does quote Shakespeare in the comics, and he does have a penchant for collecting Fabergé eggs, but moving swiftly on from that, I love the fact that they still gave the Penguin his mind. Yes, he's not just a mobster, you know, he actually is very clever. And I'm liking the fact that they included that. Colin Farrell had a great fun with the part, you can tell. On to the Batman-Selena Kyle relationship. It's done really well. This is the first time that we've actually seen them where they're both working together for the same aim. Even though Batman is like, I am vengeance. And even though at the end of the film he's like, I am hope. But I'm like, I'm hopeful vengeance, or vengeance hopeful. Anyway, moving on. That is interesting because this is the first time that we've actually seen them work together on screen in live action. We did see them in Batman Returns, but that was sort of at the end because she was there and then she was gone. This time she's very much with him and he's with her, even though it's unspoken. And this is the problem with the Batman and Catwoman relationship. They are stuck in an emotionally abusive relationship because they can't move forward and have what they want because of other priorities in their lives. And looking at the whole movie from the eyes of somebody who's living in the 21st century, it does look dated. And that's because we're dealing with 1940s, 1950s source material that has had to be updated for now. The film noir neon setting gives it that, and it's patriarchy that is the problem within the Batman universe. It's really quite, and you can tell because Catwoman is not a 90s character. Bearing in mind that this film deals with the problem of vice, which is alcohol, tobacco, drugs, and obviously sex trafficking, hence the Russian woman whose passport got put in a safe because clearly she was a sex worker. We can assume that in this version, Selena Kyle has been her dominatrix self because that is part of her backstory. She has a really, really, really awful childhood, as this film mentions. And it's interesting that she thinks that Falcone, her father, could have done something about it, but actually putting Selena into care was his way of showing he cared because he couldn't take care of her. There'd be no way that a mobster would be able to have a 7-year-old child with him after murdering her mother. Oh, spoiler, did I just say that? Anyway, yeah, Selena Kyle is a problematic character going forward. Purely because, is she a lesbian or is she not a lesbian? Things aren't clear cut with her. I mean, Harley Quinn, we've had her fabulous emancipation from the Joker and she's doing great things. I mean, she was doing great things when she was off with the Joker. She was doing her stuff with Poison Ivy. She had a relationship with Catwoman, Poison Ivy going. She had the Birds of Prey going. She had a Suicide Squad stuff. And that was before she sort of left the Joker. So she actually had rather a big life outside of her relationship with the Joker. Catwoman doesn't really have that as much. She is very much tied to Gotham, or she's always called back to Gotham, because the thing that makes Harley Quinn so versatile in this universe is the fact that she's incarcerated at Belle Reve. Yes, she sometimes gets put back in Arkham and round we go again with the Joker just for fun. But she's actually been freed from her Gotham cage. Selena Kyle keeps having to be put back into her Gotham cage because that's where Batman is. So it's always bittersweet, and she's really frustrating because I feel like a subtitle for this film should be the almost, if not quite, emancipation of Catwoman from Batwoman. From Batman. Well, it could be Batwoman, who cares? Selena is bi, by the way. Or is she a lesbian? It's quite interesting. And this film hints at that because she was clearly in a relationship with that Russian lady who unfortunately gets murdered. And then she ends up in a relationship with Batman that is somewhat unfulfilled because Batman's dating style is, I'm a stone. I'm a stone. I care about you. Great! Wonderful! I mean, 30 years. I mean, it took the Joker 30 years, but at least the Joker in live action, we must give him props. A, felt bad that Harley Quinn was lost, and B, managed to break her out of jail. Yes, he has done that in the comics. That is comic accurate, but for interesting other reasons, not just because he cares about her. Yes, he does care about her. He just is fisty with it. The Batman-Selena Kyle relationship is so emotionally awkward that it is abusive because he's always denying, yet she still comes back to him. But he's not hitting her. It is emotional hit that keeps Selena hooked to him. And this is a problem, hence why the best part of this whole thing was when both of them were riding their motorcycles together, and they were going forward, and then another forward, and then another, and they were chasing her. And then when they separate, it is heart-wrenching. And the fact that Batman looks in the mirror lets you know how much she means to him, but he can't tell her, because as soon as he says it, he will act on what he can't have, and that will stop him from saving or providing justice or being vengeful hope for Gotham. And Selena Kyle is very right. She's like, the city's not going to change, love. It is really frustrating because of how sexual Selena Kyle is. She can't really break that, whereas Harley Quinn, she's multifaceted because she's been depicted as a mother to Lucy Quinn. She's been depicted as a domestic violence victim. She's been depicted as a saviour of the world. She's been depicted as a criminal. She's got all these other hats that she wears now. Catwoman, yes, we know that she's a cat burglar, and B, we know that she's in love with Batman, and C, she knows that his real identity, and that's pretty much it. She doesn't really do anything besides that. Yes, we find out in this that she's the daughter of Falcone, but that doesn't really add to her hats that she wears. Yes, I know in the comics Batman and Selena do have a daughter who becomes the Huntress. Her name is Helen or Helena. Side note, but that still ties her to Gotham. That doesn't liberate her, weirdly enough. Harley Quinn, by having Lucy, is actually liberated from the Joker because of it. Because the Joker's not involved in their lives. You know, she's had to leave with a family member while she goes and does her Suicide Squad stuff, which has completely freed her from the Gotham realm. Catwoman can never leave Gotham, so it's always so this is the Batman and the almost, if not quite, emancipation of Catwoman from Batman, even though at the end she leaves to go and do other stuff. We know that she will come back for him, and it really kind of does sort of fall flat. And that's the most frustrating thing as a woman watching this with 21st century eyes, because Catwoman is such a 90s creature that she hasn't been able to evolve. However beautifully she's played on screen, I felt that the woman playing Catwoman in this was very strong, really good. She did the best that she could with the material, and actually she elevated Catwoman to being an equal with Batman, and that's something we actually haven't seen on screen. It's almost sort of been, if you go back to Batman Returns, he sees her wearing a dress, he sees her as Catwoman and is intrigued. He sees her at the end where they both save each other and then she disappears off into the night. And that is it. Whereas in this you feel that they're working together with a common goal, but which is really nice to see that. What would have been really good is we'd have actually seen Joker and Harley Quinn work together to take down Batman. That would have been nice in live action before the whole Suicide Squad stuff. But, you know, plus some of the more domestic abuse stuff going on as well. Because this film's Certificate 15. The Batman universe is Certificate 15. There's no way of doing this and doing it properly and it not being a 15. That's just the way it is. I mean, we did have the beautiful Dark Knight saga, and that was just a 12. Just. You can't do this stuff now and it not be a 15. It's just the way it is. Because it's so violent. I mean, hearing that woman getting strangled on that phone was absolutely horrific. We didn't have to see it. From hearing it, you knew it was traumatic. It was absolutely awful and appalling. And then we had that awful scene later on with Catwoman. Oh, yeah. But that's so annoying because it makes Catwoman out to be weak, but she's not weak. It was really frustrating because as a woman, I could literally write this. I was like, oh, she's going to get strangled by Falcone. Oh, at the end when she saves him and pulls him up, oh, she's going to get attacked and he's going to have to rescue her. It just felt so predictable. We've seen it before so many times, not in the Bat universe, but in other stories. And that's what makes Joker and Harley Quinn so special, and even Joker and Punchline so special, is that weirdly enough, those are modern relationships. They were written, yes, they were written in the 90s, but actually they've been allowed to grow and development. So when you see them now, they're 21st century relevant. The Batman and Catwoman relationship is still stuck in like 90s mode and they can't get out of it. I mean, hopefully now with this movie, they'll be able to move them forward if they can. But it's because Selena Kyle is Batman's endgame, as we know from the Dark Knight trilogy. It's just really, really difficult. 5 out of 5 for this movie. It's 3 hours long. I enjoyed it. The music was really good. It was understated. Yes, it's a brooding 3 hours depressing mess, but that's Batman. This is what he is. He's not that camp chipper thing. We haven't got a Robin to light-hearten it. And actually, I'm hoping that at some point they will introduce Damian Wayne, who is a bratty little thing and doesn't really provide the, you know, the good old Dick Grayson or the Tim Drake, or even the Jason Todd. But the Jason Todd, I feel that we really should see Jason's Todd story in live action, you know, from Robin to Red Hood. It would be nice to actually see all of the Robins in one Batman film that is film noir, where you've got detective stuff happening, but them being at an appropriate age. Maybe sort of like Damian Wayne could be sort of 14, but this is the problem, because Batman just gets, because Deadshot just keeps giving child endangerment charges to him, hence why they don't seem to be doing that, even though he's old. It's such a shame we never got to see the whole Jason Todd thing, because it was hinted at with Batflix, with Ben Affleck's Batman, but we never saw it, and you felt that the relationship, that's one of the reasons why having Jared Leto come back in after doing Suicide Squad into Zack Snyder's Justice League, that scene between Batman and the Joker at the end was so gratifying, because it sort of summed up the stuff that we never got to see in that universe, but we knew that it happened. Anyway, I've talked enough. The Batman, 5 out of 5 from me. I enjoyed it. It was a little long and padding, but it was so nice to be able to see the great detective, even though it's sort of obvious. I was like, well, what is a rat with wings? Well, it's a bat, it's a falcon, it's a penguin. It could be any of these, or it could be none. You just felt, towards the end, I was like, there really is no point to this, because everybody in this town is corrupt. Everybody's got some kind of skeleton in the closet, and everybody is living in chaos. So you've sort of got the Joker's mantra going through, even though he's not actually there, because the patient that we see talking to the Riddler at the end, you assume to be the Joker, but it's actually in the credits, unseen Arkham patient. Oh, and the Easter egg that will really bake your brain is, who is Martha Wayne? And she's a member of the Arkham family, and we know that the Arkham family are a bit cuckoo. So does Alfred know that Bruce Wayne is schizophrenic or got split personality or is dissociative identity? Because clearly everybody accepts that the Waynes are Fruit Loops. So there's something not quite right. And is Martha Wayne... there's so many questions now if we tie it in with 2019's Joker movie. So many questions, because who is the mother of Bruce? Is it Peggy? Is it Martha? There are just too many things. It's too delicious. The fact that Martha is going in and out of Arkham, because we know that Bruce Wayne is actually an outpatient of Arkham. He also sits on the board of it, which is, yeah, it's just crazy. But then again, welcome to Gotham. Corruption and self-interest and all. And the fact that Batman is so obtuse to the fact that he can't see how obtuse he is, and it takes the Riddler and Catwoman to call him out, because he's just not seeing the big picture. He's so wrapped up in his own brooding self and so blinkered that actually that is a problem. So I've talked enough. 5 out of 5 from me. I really enjoyed it. Go check it out. It is long. Take some food. Anyway, that's my review. I hope you enjoyed my Batman review. Please like, comment and subscribe, and stay safe wherever you are. Click the notification bell for my latest videos, and thank you for the support, and bye-bye now.